All right, guys, we are back for another Dokkan Battle video. I just wanted to further up with some more information. We had, a decently sized update earlier, right? Like, we had a straight up version update. There are some interesting kind of like changes that have been added into the game, right? Battlefield is heavily revamped. Now, we're not going to see Battlefield. It's not currently live. So it's going to be a little bit until we're actually going to see Battlefield, right? But, we'll be able to look at that. There is also kind of like the new team like sorting function that we do have access to as well, right? Which will allow us, once we kind of like hit the button, here, let me just skip to where we got it. It kind of shows the percentages that we're getting from the leader skill. Now it says 690%. If we just quickly take a look at a leader skill, we'll just use Beast Gohan right here. What that is, of course, is it's taking all of these stats, right? So if you combine this, these, and then this right here, that will take us to our 690% buff that we'll get. So, like, that means a character is getting the full stats from a leader skill. And then we go a little bit down, and then we see it gets to 540% right there. So, I think for a lot of players, this is going to be a nice addition to kind of show, like, like which characters are getting the full stats from the leader skill and which characters are just kind of on, like, they're on the leader skill, but not necessarily getting the full stats. Remember, I would say, though, that when it comes to, like, team building, usually a good character matters more than these percentages, right? So, like, if you're going to try and bring some really shitty old character, like a newer, stronger character is going to be much better at a 540%. Hey, there we go. There's a good example of one. Boom. Ultimate Gohan and Gamma 1 will be significantly better than here, let's back up. Would be significantly better than, like, Ultimate Gohan right here, or this Gohan, or like a lot of like older characters, right? Older, shittier characters who are just not going to be good as like the new, stronger versions, right? So, I mean, we had this update. Global, by the way, is getting this on Thursday. So Global will be getting this soon as well, right? So hopefully that this will be the last time that we're going to be get kind of like these staggered sort of like releases, right? Now we have some more information here that we should look at. So here's new strings. These are just new strings, not complete info for the potential new mechanics, more info later, which we've got. Now, Rick goes on to theorize that there's going to be new mechanics potentially in kind of like the Dokkan battle or Dokkan Frontier type setting, right? Which is the survival mode, is the battle system where each character has their own individual HP bar and stuff like that. Here's an example. I've found that in survival mode, some characters' giant forms are really not too impressive, because while a character is in giant form, you cannot swap teams, right? So I've found Tech Metal Cooler actually can be a bit of a frustrating run if you run him, because Metal Cooler, he will be invincible. But then the other two characters are going to be victims, right? And until the giant form runs out, you're not able to swap over to the other team, right? So just a lot to consider, right? So, all right, so we have some of this information right here. But then if we back up, we've got like kind of like more. Okay. So assets possibly related to the time bomb mechanic. Looks like this might be a boss mechanic specific to survival mode. To be confirmed, obviously, take it with a grain of salt. And remember, that is the Dokkan Frontier battle system. So maybe shielding is a survival mode specific mechanic that protects against time bomb on the player's side. So remember, a lot of characters right now do have specific survival mode abilities. Let me just pull up Carnival Goku, and let me pull up this Goku right here. So all revive characters pretty much have a standard and survival kind of like, revive ability. The reason is because, in survival, it's like, Carnival Goku himself needs to be killed. for that revive to trigger. It's not going to work if some other character on the rotation gets killed, right? And then this Goku right here, he has kind of like some different abilities. I mean, this guy was designed for Dokkan Frontier, for the survival battle system. So that does make sense, right? Like he has straight up, look, these are straight up different, stronger abilities he has in Dokkan Frontier, in survival mode. So, I mean, we could be seeing characters come out, and I mean, this shielding, you know, could be for our characters. Now, to me, like, we're talking time bomb and shielding, right? To me, there's a very, like, a duo does come to mind from what I anticipate GDC will be. I think GDC will be the end of Namek Saga, the end of the Android/Cell Saga, and then the end of the Majin Buu Saga. I think it's going to be a grand triple part, and I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic, right? Well, here's the thing to consider. Remember, Cell blows up. So like at like a time bomb type thing or something like that related to Cell maybe, or a fight against Cell. And then remember Goku, this moment is not really represented in like good animations and stuff. There is a card related like from that moment. He is different on both Global and JP, by the way, this guy right here. On Global, he's an SSR. On JP, he is not. Okay, let's get this guy. All right, hold on. All right, here he is right here, right? So on Global, he's an SSR. On JP, he's only an SR character, right? This guy was obtained. Funnily enough, you know what's funny about this? Maybe this is a bit of a connection here, maybe. But this guy is obtained from the One Piece collab event, right? Where you would fight Dom Flamingo or whatever his name is. And you would be able to get this Goku. I remember players back in the day, especially Global players, going crazy because you could get these SSR Gokus to really raise your SA levels. Back then, it was much harder to get your SA levels raised, right? So, you know, we're able to get those Super Saiyan Gokus, and people were like looking super good with that. So I think that could be the case. Wait, I actually just want to quickly pull up here. Let me go to this tweet right here. We'll get back to this in 2 seconds. It was this, yeah. So these One Piece assets were removed. They're gone, right? Which, I mean, obviously makes sense. I mean, this was like a one-time thing that happened back in 2016, right? This One Piece collab stuff. So has not been around for quite some time. So they got rid of that. And again, I do think it's just kind of like, kind of interesting that maybe this Goku could be one of the GDC LRs too, who could have the shielding mechanic of like instant transmissioning you away or something, right? Just potentially a thought there with those kind of like these new assets right here. So we'll see how this is going to look. Although with this is shielding. So maybe it would be like, I don't know, Android 17 has a shield. Super Vegito, you know, sometimes uses a shield or a barrier. Future Gohan does shield or a barrier. Babidi uses one. Right, like just some characters off the top of my head that you kind of like use different shields or barriers, right? So we have that. Then if we go right here, so there's a number of OSTs, like kind of like gaps in the data for OSTs, and some theorizing that these could be related to the Battlefield revamp, which does make sense since they were only in JP's data download and not Global's, right? And remember, Global and JP both should be getting a data download on the Thursday the 20th, right? So like kind of like overnight, you know, early on the 21st is when the maintenance and stuff will finish, and these OSTs will probably in there be for Battlefield for Global and JP. I think we'll probably get a Battlefield like this weekend, probably, or at the start of next week, related to the countdown to GDC, right? Because that Thursday date I keep talking about, that's when the countdown is going to begin, right? So then we have this other thing right here. A lot of people were hoping for Metal Cooler to return. At like in the countdown, right? I don't want to say it's impossible, but this banner, which I did expect was going to be dropping, right? A version of this banner looks like it's going to drop, and it's going to be the same thing. Perform a multi to get a special reward ticket, and then you could use it to get character exclusive skill orbs. So right here, we've got all the characters that will actually be in this banner. It's not great. There's 2 major characters here that I think they're kind of like, they're the ones who will kind of sell people on summoning for it. So we have Dokkan Fest Tao, Master Roshi, and then Carnival into Goku, Trunks, and Vegeta. Nothing really too crazy. But then we have this. Here, these are just previous things we had pulled up. Let's get rid of all these. All right. So these are the, I guess there's kind of like 3 major characters that maybe people would want to summon on to get these characters. These 3 right here. These are all going to be on the banner. Future Gohan and Trunks and Majin, Vegeta, and Goku obviously have not returned yet. And these are not characters. This is not like a real banner, so you're not going to be able to get them with coins or anything, right? Then Golden Frieza and Gogeta's on there. This is the Saiyan Day Super Saiyan Vegeta. Here's the Future Gohan and Trunks, Goma, STRTN, LR Pycon, the 8th anniversary headliners, right? The Spirit Bombs, Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball GT Spirit Bombs, and then the Carnival Int Gohan and AGL Goku. So all the 8th anniversary LRs will be there. Now you could pull on the banner, maybe pull some of these guys, but then you'll be able to use a ticket to get the equips. Now we could take a look at it. These equips suck. So this is 1,000. Well, okay, wait. I'm not going to say they suck, but there are like, these aren't as good as the top tier equips you could get from WeSent. There are better equips in the WeSent. So like this Goku, 1,000 defense is not bad, right? But you can get up to 1,100 defense from the Whis event. Now for the silver, we have 1,200 defense. Let me take a look at that. So for silver, it's 1,400 defense. So it's 200 extra defense from the Whis event ones. And then for the gold, 7 additional and then 900 stats. But then down here, it's 8 and then 1,200 stats. So you see, they're weakened versions of these very powerful Whis event equips. So for me, these are worthless, basically, these equips. Because it's like, I spend all day, every day grinding the Whis event, to min-max my characters. I mean, if you're a free-to-play player or something like that, I wouldn't really recommend summoning on this banner, but I mean, I guess if you want to, you can. Because the ticket, at the very least, like, if you're like, okay, but I just want to get the equips for Majin, Vegeta, and Angel Goku, who are still like a top 5 character, I don't think that they've aged out. I think they should be able to withstand difficult power creep. The one weakness this character has, in my opinion, that could be exploited is they need Buu Saga allies. That could be a major thing, right? So we'll see with Majin, Vegeta, and Angel Super Saiyan to Goku right there. If you want to try and like get the equips or anything for them. But I would probably mostly say skip. Now, maybe they drop another version of this right here as well. Let me go to this. So there was the banner pre-11th anniversary that they dropped to try and get people to summon, to try and bait people into summon. It was, yeah, this right here. The 11th anniversary countdown where you could potentially get mini Super Saiyan 4 Goku or Goma. A lot of people have since said that they regret not summoning on this. So we'll see if they might do like 2 banners. One with the equip and then another one of these. Because, I mean, GDC Countdown Dokkan Festival. I guess I could see it, but we'll see. So, let me know what you guys think. A lot of, information we got last night. Makes sense because we're now very close to the GDC celebration. We got the time bomb mechanic, the survival mode, shielding ability. A lot of stuff potentially coming soon.